Hello, welcome to the Bellingham-Whatcom County League of Women Voters interviews of candidates in the August primary for the Whatcom County Council. The League is a nonpartisan organization. We never support or oppose a party or a candidate. My name is Michael J., and my guest is Maya Morales, who is running for County Council from District 2. We are asking all the candidates for this office the same three questions. Each candidate has 2 minutes to answer each question, and the answers are timed. The video of candidate Morales's responses will remain on our website until after the primary elections on August 5th, 2025. Candidate Morales, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview and for seeking to serve in public office.
Thank you. I'm currently serving in public office, but again, yes.
Right, you're right. Continuing, how's that? So our first question is, what do you consider one of the top problems facing the Whatcom County Council, and what ideas do you have for solving it?
Yes. First, I just want to say thank you so much to you and League of Women Voters for doing this work because I know it's volunteer, and it's hugely important to our elections. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so let me just make sure I understand, what is one of the key problems? Is that what you said? Or issues on
What
county
is one
council?
of the top problems facing the county council, and what ideas do you have for solving it?
The council itself, sorry, or the county?
The county council.
Okay, interesting. Well, I think our council, a few things. I will start with actually the public because the people is the reason I legislate, right? The people are many of the sort of like range of issues and diverse voices that come to the table that are, in my mind, paramount to anything that happens with the council, and that interaction is really key. So one of the issues that I really see is this struggle of feeling like the council is not responsive to the people, or when the people lift up an issue and voice really loudly an opinion or a certain position, that may or may not be listened to by the council. And so I do see that as a council issue. It's one that I think involves people inherently and making space for more interaction. I know that there has been some movement on that recently and trying to have community conversations. I personally think we need to go further, and that's why I brought forward two different charter amendments to institute town halls for all of our council members because I feel like we actually should be able to expect an interactive meeting with each of our council members at least once a year. I think that's one of the issues. Obviously, the other issue that we see a lot on our county council is issues of legal authority, like who has the legal authority in terms of the lawyers and the council that they deal with, as well as just the diversity across our council. We have a sort of a political split that needs to be bridged. And so those are some of the things that I think are challenges for our council. And I think I'm losing time to get into my solutions, but you can see them on my website.
Wonderful, thank you. And my apologies for that ringing that happened in the background there. Um, all right, thank you. So our next question is, what programs or services could the county be adding for its residents, and which, if any, it now provides, should it eliminate?
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, this is a great question. I think to me, as a housing advocate, I've been working in housing advocacy space for almost 5 years now. That is one of the biggest areas of support that people in Whatcom County have needed and still need and are going to continue to need, I think, for the long haul here. We've seen a lot of economic precarity and stability just really kind of blow up for working people. And so working people and families really just need more support around affordable housing, but also sheltering. As we see, mass layoffs of workers, and whether that's from AI taking jobs or whether that's the federal government slashing to whole departments, we're beginning to see the impact of that as well. We've already seen the impact of the pandemic. That shot unhoused numbers up by like 15 to 25% in some populations. And we have not really dealt with that fallout. And so one of the biggest needs that we have is to really secure that emergency weather sheltering, But the other one is to then be able to support it with actual affordable housing and transition people from this place of utter precarity into a place of stability. And so I've been putting in a lot of work for several years on this topic. I passed a major housing platform through my party. I also have advocated for rent stabilization and renter protections, as well as money in our capital budget, in our operating budgets for the state to really support services and to make sure that we don't, you know, leak any of that funding out into other stuff, that we really keep those supports in place. So I think there's a lot of work to be done on that issue. Things the county doesn't need. That's a really interesting question. I am not sure that we've got necessarily frivolous things going on. I'd have to dig a little deeper into our budget to give you that. So I'm not sure I know the answer to things that are extra and unneeded at the county level. I could probably give you some city things. But yeah, thanks for that question.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next and last question. And that is, why do you think people are so polarized in their political positions these days? And how would you contribute to a more cooperative working relationship with your fellow council members?
Yeah, wow, that is a massive. I just want to honor the size of that question. That's huge. I'm not so sure that necessarily applies to the workings of council in every case, but I will say I think the overall framing is really important there, which is that we've got a major political divide in our nation. We're seeing it play out on the streets of LA. The fact is that we have a plan that has been brought forward into a government space where there is a whole project, 2025, of really disenfranchising people who have been afforded protections under the Constitution, and who've seen those advanced by legislation and rulemaking and lawmaking. And we're seeing all of that, really the attempt to slash it back. And so to me, that obviously increases divides that were already there because it puts into place real economic, urgent life situations of precarity very suddenly for folks who are under attack. As someone who comes from multiple marginalized communities, including part of my family is an immigrant family, I deeply understand the need to protect people, in a space where we are, as a state, attempting to kind of take a different position as our federal government is. We're in a real pickle sometimes on certain issues. And so I see on our council a need to kind of get down to the basics of what makes us human and what does every human need, and really speak at that level when we look at solutions for our county, because it's just so important for everyone at the table, whenever you have different positioning, to at least get down to the human basics, right? Every human deserves this, 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 and this. We all know that. Let's work from that space. I think that's the best we can do with this divide right now. In terms of actual council positioning, there are some things we're probably just not going to agree on, and that's why we have a majority vote.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, candidate Morales. Once again, thank you for giving the public this insight into your views and values. Viewers, please don't forget to vote by August 5th. Ballots sent by mail must be postmarked by that date. Ballots placed in drop boxes must be submitted by 8 p.m. that day. For more information, please see votewa.gov. Thanks again.
Thank you.